Hello there, Lunar Squadron, and welcome back to the channel. We are now only a month away from the release of Marvel Spider-Man 2. Can you guys believe it? We are only a month away. We are so close, and it seems like every single day we get so much new, exciting information, whether it be new gameplay details, new story details, new feature details, all kinds of great stuff is coming every single day. But today, we want to break down some exciting new gameplay details that were confirmed in various interviews over the last few days by members of the Insomniac team themselves that we think are details that will help make this game not maybe just Game of the Year material, but Game of the Generation material. That's right, guys. We think this game is going to be that incredible, and we're going to tell you why in this video. But first, if you're new to the channel, we would love to have you as always, and the way to do that, just go down below this video, hit that little subscribe button, the bell notification right on next to it. It will notify you every single time that Andreas and I upload. Now with that out of the way, Andreas, are you ready to talk about some brand new gameplay features?
Oh yeah, let's do this, guys.
Alright, Andreas, so we're making a very bold claim. We're saying that Marvel Spider-Man 2 has the potential to be Game of the Generation type material. Now, what do we mean by that? Because we believe that Game of the Year type games are the games that have great stories, they have great gameplay, all of that stuff, right? That really take games to the next level. But what does Game of the Generation mean? And to me, Andreas, that means that not only does it have a great story, does it have great gameplay, but it pays attention to the little details. It gets the little things right. And it feels like all of this new information we're getting this week about Marvel Spider-Man 2 points to that Insomniac is going to get the little details right. And that is really highlighted in this brand new PlayStation blog article.
That's exactly right, Nick. We're referring to an article that came out just yesterday from the time of release of this video, the article out of PlayStation Blog. Nick, I feel like we're getting a new PlayStation Blog article almost every day now about Spider-Man 2, which is awesome. I love the tempo here, how Insomniac is really, and Sony as a whole, has really rallied behind this game as we approach release here. And this article in particular is called How Marvel Spider-Man 2 Taps into the Power of PS5. This article is written by Tim Turi, who is the content communications manager over at Sony Interactive. And my God, Nick, does this article really start to drive in that nail that you're talking about? The devil's in the details. We get all of these great details that this game is getting right. Everything from facial animations incorporating moistened eyelids, visible capillaries, nuanced lighting, all the way down to some really cool open world details that I would love to touch on here. If you guys are wanting the full article, make sure to check out the article because it will teach you all sorts of cool things, including rippling musculature, which if you're interested in how the musculature of Lizard's jaw is impacted in this game by the power of the PS5, go ahead and give that a read. For purposes of this video, Nick, I want to focus on the section entitled Bustling City Life. It reads, Spider-Man is nothing without a city to protect, and Marvel's New York is livelier than ever. New York pedestrians are represented by a more diverse array of body types and enter and exit buildings. They drive down streets in vehicles that display the subtle, authentic bobbing motion of automotive suspension systems. In past Marvel Spider-Man titles, players could peep into building windows for a glimpse at decorated interiors. Marvel Spider-Man 2 heightens the detail with actual occupants. These small details help build a rich city backdrop that feels alive. Now, Nick, I know we're talking about some really small details here. We're talking about automotive suspension systems in this game, but Nick, this is really crazy because we're talking about a Spider-Man game here, and this dev team has thought of things all the way down to the simplest thing that is featuring in this open world. And what that signals to me is that while they're highlighting just a few details here, this whole world is going to be packed full of that hyper-detailed, realistic tone that you want to see out of a modern open world video game.
Yeah, and if you guys have been with the channel for a long time, you will know one thing that Andreas and I really look for, and especially in open world type games, is we want the game to feel alive. We want it to be populated. We want it to be bustling. We want those sorts of details just in the game to make it feel alive. We think that is the type of detail that helps bring games like this to the next level. And the sentence I want to hone in here is the last one, where it says, these small details help build a rich city backdrop that feels alive. New York City feels alive in this game. And Andreas, you were talking about how like Insomniac's paying attention down to how the suspension of a car acts. Like, they are going deep into the details of this game. I mean, they are paying attention to the minutia of stuff in this game, and it's so incredibly exciting. And I am so excited that they are building a New York City that's going to feel alive, and it's going to help take this franchise to the next level. But that's not the only thing that they are doing to make this city feel alive. I actually want to jump over to another interview that a member of the Insomniac team gave this week, and that is actually an interview with the associate animation director, James Ham. He sat down with Gamertag Radio, and then this is an article out of Eurogamer who transcribed this interview, and they're talking about, you know, how you'll have the ability to switch between Peter and Miles, and we've talked about that in the past and how incredibly exciting that is and how it takes advantage of the PlayStation solid state for that almost instantaneous switch. But Andreas, it actually goes a little further than that. I would actually say it goes a lot further than that, and it's a lot more exciting, because the person asks, what happens to the other character when you're not controlling them in the open world? Do they just disappear? Do they cease to exist until you pick up on them again? That is actually not going to be what happens, and that was pretty shocking to me. What actually is going to happen, and this is a quote from Ham, he says, the answer is they don't disappear, but can actually be found and about doing whatever a Spider-Man does. There are times where you can be swinging throughout the city, Ham revealed, and you can see the other Spider-Man sometimes actively doing something or stopping a crime. When this happens, you'll be able to join in and help out. Teamwork makes the dream work after all. Andreas, this is huge. This is incredibly exciting. We're going to be able to be swinging through New York City. There will be a crime, and the other Spider-Man, whether you're playing as Peter or Miles, could be already there and involved, or you could just be swinging around and be like, oh, there's Miles out in the distance beating the shit out of some bad guys. Like, that is so incredibly cool to me. That is so revolutionary that when you're not playing as the other Spider-Man, he's going to be alive and active in this alive city, just doing his own thing, fighting crimes, and you can team up with him. You'll get these voice quips back and forth between the two, like, hey, thanks for your help. Like, this is just honestly blowing my mind. This is one of those details that is like on the level of this fast travel mechanic where you can just pick whatever street you want and travel right into it. When you start to add up all of these insane details, you really see something special cooking up here at Insomniac.
I personally am very interested in this concept that you can walk up on these random encounters with whichever other Spider-Man you are not controlling at the time. What I'm really curious about at this point is, how often do these random encounters trigger, and how many different iterations of these interactions are going to be baked into the game? Because I could totally see this being one of those things that could be incredibly repetitive, where you walk in on the other Spider-Man doing maybe the same thing every time, and it could get to be like, oh, haven't I already seen this kind of thing? So I'm really interested to see how deep the rabbit hole goes with this and how far Insomniac is going to take this. How many different iterations of crimes and other things are we going to walk in on the other Spider-Man doing? And on that note, we've also got some new information today about just generally doing some community work as Spider-Man in this game, where when you help fight crime, you might be asked by citizens to return them to a nearby ambulance or to their residence, things like that, which I think are going to add an extra dimension of not only realism, but also variety with some of these random encounters. And that leads me to believe that there will be a variety of encounters with the other Spider-Man in this game. And it's something that I'm really looking forward to. I'm maybe approaching this a little skeptically right now, just because it's that too good to be true. And so I'm really wondering, once we get our hands on the final product here, how this will actually play out.
Yeah, I really am too. And to just add to what you're talking about, you know, we're going to be stumbling into the other Spider-Man. The inverse of that is also true. The next paragraph of this interview says, the inverse is also possible. If you're in the middle of dealing with some criminals, the other Spider-Man may turn up to assist you. Quote, "It's a cool experience to be able to play with both Peter and Miles in this way," Ham said. "I think it'd be a nice touch if you could also get Peter and Miles to do the Spider-Man pointing meme. That would be incredibly awesome." I totally have faith that Insomniac has some cool, Spider-Man lore baked into this game. I wouldn't be shocked if we get the animated series symbiote suit Shocker recreated at some point in this game, like with the symbiote suit.
Shocker! You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
Would not be surprised because Insomniac is really good at incorporating the lore of Spider-Man into their games. Now, Andreas, up to this point, we've been really talking about, more side missions, side quests type stuff, swinging through the open world, coming up against crime. This is not the only new information we got about side quests in this game, is it?
No, it's not, Nick. We also got a transcript of an interview with senior art director Jacinda Chu about side missions in this game. And this quote, guys, got me super excited for the side content in this game. Chu goes right off the bat saying, "We've added a lot of great side content. One of the things I know people love about our game is just the amount of narrative and story that we have in the world. So we've definitely made a big effort and pushed to put a lot of narrative into the side content. So I would tell people to please play those optional missions because you'll see some really cool surprises." Nick, this makes me think immediately about our video yesterday, all about Mysterio. If you guys haven't seen that, go watch that right now, because I think Nick and I had a really interesting discussion yesterday about Mysterio, his involvement in this game, potential involvement in side content in this game. And this quote, Nick, really makes me think that we could start seeing some big things in the side content, that if you aren't playing through side content in this game, you could potentially be missing out on some big things. And what really gets me excited about this is that there's not just random missions placed in this game for no reason. It seems like this world is going to be packed full of meaningful side missions that have a big payout. I'm thinking of games recently such as Starfield, where there are in-depth side storylines, something that we would ordinarily see out of a company like Bethesda. And I'm wondering if Insomniac's trying to maybe beat Microsoft at its own game here, and maybe take one to Starfield even, and make these in-depth side story plot lines here.
Yeah, this is incredibly exciting because, Andreas, I think this is just another data point that we have that points to this game being something special, something like the game of the generation type material, because we already know that the story, the main story, the gameplay of this game is going to be incredible. It's Insomniac. They always hit. The first two Spider-Man games are incredible. We have total and complete faith in Insomniac putting forth one of their best efforts ever here with Marvel Spider-Man 2. The one thing I would say is most people, if they had a complaint about Marvel Spider-Man, if any, at least what you see around the internet is, oh, well, the side missions, they just weren't exciting. They got repetitive. They were kind of boring. It was kind of a chore to get through to 100% this game. At least those are a lot of the critiques that I see of the first two Marvel Spider-Man games in this franchise, is like the big negatives, if you even want to say these have negatives, which it's kind of weird to say when these games are renowned and are absolutely incredible to say they have negatives. But that is what you typically see, or at least I have seen, when you see people talking about negatives. And it looks like Insomniac has taken that to heart and they've completely addressed it. They're reworking the side content in this game. They're going to be greatly improved. It's going to be a lot more exciting. There's going to be a lot more surprises, more stuff to do. There's going to be narrative driving these side quests. I am so excited to see what side quests are like in Marvel Spider-Man, how exciting they are. And, Andreas, if you think back to that Exploring New York trailer we just got at the State of Play event, these side missions looked really exciting. They looked like a lot of fun, and they looked like they were, like you said in Starfield, their own little storylines going on here, which is exactly what Jacinda Chu is saying they're going to be. I was noticing that just from a visual standpoint in that State of Play trailer, so I'm just so excited to get our hands on this game in a month. This game is going to be truly special, guys. I don't know what else to say. That's enough hype for one day. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about all of these brand new gameplay features and details in Marvel Spider-Man 2. There is so much more stuff to cover. It feels like every single day that we're getting brand new information, which is just a dream for us to be able to break down and talk about on the channel. And there's still so much information from the State of Play trailer and the gameplay that dropped and all of the other articles that have dropped. There is going to be so much Marvel Spider-Man 2 content from from us, guys, so definitely be on the lookout. And let us know down below in the comments, what are you guys most excited for in Marvel Spider-Man 2 in terms of, you know, side quests? What do you want to see? What do you want to see them do or changed from the first few games in Spider-Man 2 to really take those side quests to the next level? What do you guys think of this whole alive, bustling New York City? Do you guys think that will make a huge difference in comparison to the first two? Do you think this is what will take, or at least one of the things that will help take Marvel Spider-Man 2 into that generational game type level? Definitely let us know down below in the comments. Anyway, that is going to do it for us for this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, we will see you all next time.